All right, guys. So we wanted to record some content today about a coming pretty big change in the iOS ecosystem, especially around the IDFA, the unique identifier for advertisers that is going to be deprecated, killed, whatever you want to call it, when iOS 14 launches, which is scheduled for September, October, somewhere in there. And this means some big things for advertisers. E-commerce obviously is going to get hit hard by this. And it essentially means that the iOS devices will be pre-opted out. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, pre-opted out. But what will change is they will be presented with a notification saying, would you like to opt in to providing advertisers your data to be advertised to? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to give you some context, what to know, what to plan for, what to talk to your clients about. But with me is Jonah, the marketing specialist over at TapCard, and Sina, the co-founder of TapCard. And they are the perfect people to be talking about this because they have a solution, and we're going to talk to that. But first, Jonah, why don't you tell me kind of what is going on? What does it mean? Who should be aware? And how should we talk to each other and our clients about this?
Yeah, so I want to preface anything I'm going to say that in regards to this, there are a lot more questions and answers, and there are a lot of strategies that still need to be figured out across both Apple's ecosystem, across the larger advertising ecosystem as well. So I generally want to phrase this by saying, traditionally, you could use your identifier for advertisers as a way to take non-personally identifiable information and use it for retargeting, for any kind of targeting purposes that you have. With that going away, or with that, the consumer being able to tell Apple that it doesn't want to be tracked, they don't want their device ID to be tracked, that it's going to affect things like attribution models, how you attribute your campaigns to specific people, to specific groups, how you can sorry, I'm getting a tongue tied here. I love talking about this stuff, so I don't want to trip over myself here. How you can effectively budget your campaigns from a dollar-to-dollar basis to measure effectiveness of your campaigns based on conversions. It's going to affect things like fraud prevention, how you optimize your campaigns, retargeting, all of those kind of things. So that's a very large bucket. And I want to say the first thing is don't really freak out, because everyone's really kind of freaking out a little bit. I would say the first thing as an agency that you should do is sit down with your clients, sit down with any kind of outside partners or vendors that you have, and have these frank discussions about how they are preparing or any kind of solutions that they have in place to counteract what's happening. It is unfortunately something that cannot be stopped, and the opt-in rate most likely would be anywhere from 0 to 20%. It could be up to 50%, but that would still affect everyone's audience across the board. So this is not something that's just singular to e-commerce. This is across anyone who has an app, anyone who uses a mobile device for any kind of campaign targeting as well. So I want to think about the first thing we should probably touch on is some kind of how this affects attribution in terms of things like people-based attribution. So traditionally, this would help you kind of understand your consumer's behavior and how they interact between their devices, if they have a mobile phone, if they have a computer. The challenge with this has been privacy. So if you're working with an outside vendor and they talk about having a device graph or a persona graph, that is traditionally built off of a unique identifier. In this case, it would be the IDFA. It could be any kind of other identifier they want to use that can track someone across their mobile device. These are kind of problematic because they do require things like cross-app and web domain trafficking, and Apple's kind of shut that down with ITP 2.0 and 2.2, and that's a whole other subject. It all kind of rolls into one here. But this does kind of raise some issues about how can you accurately target a single person and look at their specific performance and specific attributes across different device ecosystems, mobile versus desktop. If you're someone who is running a desktop-only campaign, I wouldn't say this is going to affect you as much, but traditionally most of your audience, if you're going to measure cross-device, you want to know what they're doing on mobile so you can inform your desktop performance, and vice versa. So if you're breaking out your campaigns between desktop and mobile, this is going to affect everybody. Things like campaign optimization. So right now, how are you able to accurately link your ad campaign to a particular user to understand how those campaigns are performing? and inform your KPIs and your specific ROIs and things like that. Without this identifier kind of connecting those dots between your ads and somebody downloading your app, your consumer's app, it's going to be more challenging here. So there are some solutions in place, things like fingerprinting, where you can pull in attributes that aren't as personalized. You can pull in IP address and operating system and device, what specific device you're using, what model of iPhone using, things like that. But this isn't as valuable as saying, I can tell you exactly what device this person uses, where they go on the web, things like that. I want to stop there and kind of see if I need to kind of dive into some stuff more. Alex, do you have kind of stuff that you want me to kind of expand on a bit? I can go down a rabbit hole with this, so I want to try and stay pretty focused.
No, we'll definitely link to the articles and the resources. I'm curious. So if I'm an e-commerce agency that's obviously helping my mobile app clients that have mobile app e-commerce stores with advertising, and maybe I do mobile app user acquisition campaigns, and it's not e-commerce, but I spread across the board. But what should I start doing today? Is there something specific I should start looking at? Do I have to change, overhaul anything? Is it really, what should I do?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think that will vary from agency to agency and client to client, and how robust your specific mobile app install campaigns are, how robust the specific customer base is. I would say if you're an agency who's running mobile app install campaigns, or you're a brand that has their own app, make sure you're able to capture as much data from your consumers as possible within reason, and within some privacy bounds there. But if you have a newsletter that they can, or an account they can create with an email address, that's really valuable information. What is going to be even more valuable in the long run is any kind of data that you can grab from your consumers now to inform your future marketing efforts. If you have customer lists, you got phone numbers, you got email addresses, try and extract that if you can within reason. But that's going to be almost gold moving forward. And I think that's the biggest thing I can say, is that you got to use your own customer base to help inform your future performance, because it's going to be a lot harder to build out things in Facebook like lookalike audiences. Like doing retargeting is going to be more difficult, because it's going to be harder for you to target people who added an item to a cart but didn't make a purchase. It's most of that's based on your advertising identifiers. So if you have things like email addresses, that's going to give you a huge, significant advantage, but not every app has that. So I would start to look at your customer base and see how large is it. Can you get any kind of significant data from that? Things like Facebook, Google, they have their own customer email addresses when you sign up for an account. They even have phone numbers if you just prefer to use that. So they'll be okay. It will still take a hit on them from an attribution standpoint. But in terms of your own specific app, try and take whatever data you can, or acquire any data you can from your existing customer base, and try and drill down on some trends and see what you can do right there. I think that's a very good first step.
Okay, got it. So collect email addresses, opt-ins for SMS, push notifications, and then of course, obviously, own the contact information is the bigger thing here. Just making sure that maybe the advertising shift is, instead of driving them straight to the mobile app experience, maybe there's a conversion pre-download that you're trying to get from them, and try to capture maybe a Facebook lead ad instead of a direct to mobile install ad, right? Next couple of minutes. And then, it would cost more, of course, but maybe talk to your clients about, hey, we're going to shift some of the budget to start doing some of these opt-in, ads and email ads, and trying to get some more contact data from these social users or wherever you're driving the traffic from. And then hopefully gather up a huge list that you can retarget and remarket to, and directly message. So obviously TapCard, this is important for you guys because you guys have a solution for this. But what does TapCard do today, and what is TapCard going to do in the coming months to help advertisers and help anyone that has a mobile e-commerce store?
Yeah, so what TapCard does is we are a platform, a SaaS platform that enables Shopify merchants to create a mobile app for your brand. So if you want to launch your very own iPhone or Android app, we have a very easy to use dashboard that customers can use that syncs with your existing store in real time, just like the website does. That's the online store sales channel. We're a separate sales channel, which is a mobile app sales channel. So all of your existing products, user accounts, order history, everything syncs in real time. We have a really easy to use drag and drop app interface. And we can have your very own white labeled app launched in a matter of weeks on the App Store. And we do have a partner program as well. So a lot of agencies are starting to use it as a managed service and as a new revenue stream where you can essentially design and launch the app with our help on behalf of your clients. And then really just engaging customers, generating app downloads, and push notification subscribers. And the biggest benefit to it is, if you're a TapCard customer, you wouldn't have to worry about news that comes out like this because it's an own marketing channel. And you would incentivize your clients to get their shoppers to download the app. And that creates a marketing channel where you can reach them in real time with push notifications. And the beauty of it is, unlike email where email is pretty saturated, and unlike on social media where you just don't know when and if the recipients or your shoppers are going to see the messaging, you'll know that you can just go to our dashboard, type a message, and instantly you can get, 1 push subscriber or 10 million push subscribers to see your message in real time.
Got it. Very cool. Yeah. Awesome. So that's push notifications, but I think you guys have something else coming that's pretty interesting. And this is where, I don't know a lot about this, but talk to me about AppClips. What are they and what is TapCard doing in the next couple of months?
Yeah, if I can share my screen here, I'm more than happy to go ahead and show you that, but it's something we're very excited about. And this is really the future of mobile app usage. So what we're doing here is, something that Apple announced as part of iOS 14. One of their first announcements is called AppClips, and it's the concept of streaming apps. So the beauty of this is all of the friction that comes with currently wanting to use an app, which you have to visit the App Store, download the app to your phone, find the app, and then open it. There's a bit of friction there, and I think the end result, which is potentially a push notification subscriber and the power that comes from that, and being able to reach them in real time, it's worth it. It's worth that little bit of friction to get them to download the app. But we've been waiting for this moment for several years since we launched the company back in 2017, and it's the concept of streaming apps. So somebody can visit the mobile website, they'll see a pop-up message that looks just like this. And they can tap open and they can instantly stream the app itself. It's the native app experience, and it eliminates all of the friction associated with having to visit the App Store and download the app and store it on your phone. A lot of merchants justifiably will say, I'm not going to be able to get my customers to download the app. Who's going to do it? And historically, your best customers, it's a great way to increase the lifetime value and increase really squeeze the juice out of your best customers. But now being able to offer that same experience, imagine walking up to a Bird scooter and never having used a Bird scooter before. The typical onboarding for that, which is downloading the app, installing it, getting your driver's license out, taking a picture of it, adding your credit card info, creating an account, that'll take up to 15 minutes. And you're on a scooter for a reason, like you have to go somewhere. So now you can replace that whole flow with AppClips from 10 to 15 minutes to 10 to 15 seconds with signing with Apple, with the AppClips, with Apple Pay. So we're doing the equivalent of that essentially with native apps. Apple is all in on these native app experiences. And frankly, now that there's not going to be this friction to have to visit the App Store to experience an app, there's really no reason to not have a mobile app anymore.
Awesome. This is cool. I got some notes here. Awesome. So we'll have a little bit of an article resource linked below this video, wherever you see this. We'll have it in the community. We'll have it posted on LinkedIn as well. I think this is super important, and I'm sure most of the savvy advertisers out there are already prepping for this, but it's good to know. So if you haven't heard about this, check out the resources, check out the links, book some time with Jonah and Sina over at TapCard and learn about their solution. And they do have a new partner program that's formalizing as we speak. So if you're interested in becoming a partner, talk to Sina about that. And thank you guys so much for the time. I learned a lot.
Thank you, Alex.
Of course. Thank you, Alex.